Welcome to the final day of Group Green at the PUBG Mobile Global Championship. Today, ladies and gentlemen, teams will be looking to keep their PMGC dreams alive. And also, we have teams trying to secure a ticket to the grand finals. As I have Winner Circle here, Naki, you know what? Since IQ decided to bump me, I do have a question for you. Yesterday, you started off the day in second place. Today, you are 9 points away from third place. You did have a hot drop yesterday that I felt like set the momentum for the rest of the day in Rondo. Are you guys looking to change that and not hot drop Falcons?
Speaking of yesterday, we had something in our mind that didn't go as planned because if you saw the yesterday matches, there were two plane paths in Rondo. One was going from up to the bottom, and other one was a little bit the side one, and that turned out to be a little bit of disadvantage for us because one team's already landed, and they took guns before we landed. It shot us in air.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Are you guys gonna be looking to change that hopefully today?
Yeah, today our plan is no one's listening. Our plan today is to one of us will be in a edge of the map to recall us, and three of us will fight.
All right, well, I'm hoping that's going to be the case. Thank you so much, and best of luck. I'm hoping you guys end up being in the top 3. Now, for that squad, they need to make sure they adjust their gameplay too, because a lot of teams are going to be riskier. And Osal, before you go and get ready, I do have some questions for you. Come over here with me, because day 1, it felt like the sleeping champions. Day 2, it felt like 2024 PMGC champions for D+ Kia. What was the biggest change that you guys were able to do from day 1 to day 2?
Nothing special, but first day we have like a personal problem and then a decision problem. Yeah, so and then but second days we solved that problem, so that's why we got good points, and we will be in top 3 at the end of the day.
I'm hoping that's going to be the case. Kamsahamnida, best of luck today, because for this squad, I mean, this squad definitely needs to perform if they want to make it to the grand finals. They are the defending champions. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the top 3 go to the finals. 8 teams are going to be going to last chance, and the bottom 5 are going home. Let's see who's going to be going to the finals, who'll be going home, and who'll be going to last chance today.
I love that energy right at the start. That's right, PUBG Mobile fans. This is it. The final day for Group Green. No more excuses, no more messing around. At the end of these 6 matches, 5 teams are going home. I'm your host, Hot Jukes, here with Maxman and Neptura. Max, how hype are you for today?
Yes! Okay.
Yeah!
Was that enough? Is that hyping up? No, I am genuinely so freaking excited, Hot Jukes, because as you said it, right? 3 teams here. Seven also mentioned it during that interview. Going straight into the finals, but for the first time today in PMGC, we're going to be saying goodbye to 5 teams, and that's going to be rough. Some dreams are going to be shattered. So if you're at the bottom, better start initiating that comeback. You don't have a lot of time left to go.
You don't, that is for sure. Neptura, right? You can see the schedule right here. The final day for Group Green, and then we're going into Group Red. But I'll tell you what, man, Group Green has been a blast to watch so far.
Oh, it has. It's been so much fun. I mean, the days have felt so short just because how much action we're seeing from all of these teams. And, you know, we've been talking about it over the last few days, right? But it's not going to stop today of just every single team feels like they're bringing their absolute best. There is no chance for mistakes, no chance to mess up in any of these games because there's always a team ready to take advantage of that. And I love seeing that competitiveness in all of these teams.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to see the overalls right now because that's what I definitely want to take a look at, Max, man. And when it comes to the overall rankings, right, there's 2 pieces that we got to really look at, right? Obviously, the top of the leaderboards, because we got those 3 teams going to the grand finals, and that bottom of the leaderboards where those bottom 5 teams need to go crazy. Looking at the top, right, we got obviously GOAT and D+ that are going to be right there in that spot, right? So how do you feel about their chances going to the grand finals today, Max?
I mean, Osala was looking very confident, Hot Jukes, in an interview. He's like, yeah, we're going to make it top 3, lads. No doubt in our minds. And that's the D+ that I know, right? That we saw perform, just destroy the lobby back in PMGC 2024 Grand Finals last year. But Go really true contenders here, Niptura. Go
Yes.
really, of course, going back in how they played in CSA, very impressive stuff. I was like, in globals, it's such a big level up. I don't rate Go team that highly, but no, they're really just popping off big time. Currently in 4th position, tied alongside D+. Maybe able to make history here for their squad and actually make it to a PMGC Grand Finals. That would be huge.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how GOAT are actually going to sort of adapt to what DK has been able to achieve yesterday, right? They've got that momentum building. You know, they're looking very confident. They're saying we're going to be top 3, and GOAT have done super well, as you said, but how are they going to react to DK's threat now? Because especially on a wrangle, they go very, very close to each other. D+ typically go school and go Pachinki. So I'm wondering, Max, if we're maybe going to see a little bit of targeting coming in the early stages, just to make sure for GOAT that D+ don't do what they want to do.
I mean, you have recall towers, right? If there's any point in time where you want to try and target a team with very small amount of risk, it would be Rondo. Just go for the 3-1 split. We saw, for example, Noki mentioned that he might try and do in their hot drop happening versus Falcons in Neox Factory itself. Could be happening, but here are the leaderboards. And again, the tie between GOAT, D+ Kia is going to be an issue. But going in the middle of the pack, still anyone here, Hodgix, can realistically climb back up into top 3. So APG, Alter Ego, GOAT, better be careful because they're going to be chased down big time today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that if any team sees one of these squads and once they get that elimination and realize who they are, I think they're going to go above and beyond to make sure they take them out. Because at this point, like any kind of friendliness, you know, it's over, right? Because it's all about trying to get that ticket straight to the finals. You want to avoid that survival stage as much as you possibly can. So for now, I think we definitely got to take a look at the top because that ticket is going to be super important. And you can see the different stats between GOAT and D+ right here. They are currently tied. I think they really cannot wait to get going, though. D+ took a couple games to get warmed up, but once they got warmed up, they were making it happen yesterday, Max.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Once they were getting in the swing of things after day 1, they were able to just perform so damn consistently on their second day. Look at that, 64 eliminations in one day, Niptura. That's absolute madness from this team. I think you said it also while we were talking before the show started. Normally, Nullbull's the standout player, but Chips, what a day yesterday. He was on fire.
He was on fire indeed, and I just love seeing that kind of consistency come through. Consistency that I want to actually very much pay attention to here. We have the head-to-head from Nullbull and Rosemary, right? We have some incredible stats from them, but I want to focus on the points contribution. These two are MVPs, 24.9% to 23%. It means that even though they are the standout players, they're still contributing the exact amount they need to, which means every single other player is also stepping up, also putting in their 25% roughly, right? So it means that across the board, both of these teams super consistent individually. Everybody's pulling their weight, and that's what's making them so good here in the group green stage.
Wait, before we go on anything else, did I see he has a 16+ minute average survival time, and he has a 2 elimination average? Like, the guy's alive a very small amount of the game compared to other people, and he's just popping off objects. That Rosemary, that was a great day. Day 2 was his day.
Rosemary was going crazy yesterday, you know, and teams that didn't go as crazy, right, but definitely put up some points was Loops versus GS, right? These are the two teams right there on that cutoff stage, right? So in my opinion, Max, we talked about this during the gauntlet, and I think it still applies here. In my eyes, we got 5 matches today, okay? I'm not gonna lie. We got 6 total, right? But that last game is always wild, right? Because there's gonna be some teams that know they're going home, and it's just not gonna be a traditional map of Miramar. I mean, in the gauntlet stage, the final day, I think we had like 20 players after Circle 5, right? So I hope the teams watch the gauntlet and realize that, you know what, we cannot mess about. We definitely don't wanna be waiting till the last game, right?
I mean, I remember what you were saying during the gauntlet in the last game is like, we're not going to have any changes. That was our top 7, right? And that did end up being the case. So I would agree. You have 5 games, and then the last game is just going to be so hectic, so weird, so all over the place that it's really maybe not going to have a huge impact. But I'm still hoping one day Hotchix will see a team be desperate enough in that last game to try and make that jump up the leaderboards in that final match.
Yep, well, they're going to be putting on some points, of course, on the Infinix GT30 series, the official gaming phone of PMGC 2025. Engineered for precision, performance, and victory, empowering every gamer to hashtag be the one and hashtag outplay the rest on the global stage. Man, I'm telling you what, I'm so stoked for these games because things are going to heat up big here, Neptura. Now, we're going to go into Rondo, okay? For those of you guys that could be tuning in here for the first day, Sandhawk is over. It's all about Rondo. Look at the message boards. By the way, guys, make sure you go comment, hit those QR codes, and be a part of the conversation. Hopefully, you can see some of your names up here on the board. And I see OG, right? They have had a whole bunch of support here, Neptura, but they are in that danger zone today.
They are in the danger zone, but not by much. If that win proves anything, it proves that they can do it. They are able to take advantage of zones and do what they do best. So I'm really, really hoping against hope here that they come back stronger today. It's the last day. They have nothing to lose. Just relax. Just go for it, Max.
I mean, I'm seeing also Truce with his comment there on the board. Go follow Truce, by the way. Amazing PMGC content. If you want to stay up to date with everything, the guy definitely deserves a shout out. He does great stuff out there. So good guy in the community. GG's.
Let's go.
That's it. That's my shout out.
I love it. I love it. Right. And hey, you can maybe get a shout out too. Right. So make sure you're a part of that conversation, guys. You know, put your word in for sure, because these players are going to need it. Keep it positive, man. I'll tell you what, these guys have worked all year long just to be able to get here. The pressure is through the roof right now, right? Especially for those teams on that bottom 5. They need all of your energy to be able to pull it out here. Because like I said, 5 games in my eyes to really put up those points. But back to what we were talking about earlier, Max. Rondo, okay? Sandhawk is gone. Rondo is here. Yesterday, we saw some of the most crazy Rondo plays I think we've seen all year.
I mean, Neox Factory was such an oddity, right? The hot drop happening between that certain Pakistani team that I shall not mention and the side, of course, of... There was Loopsy even at some point, right? And then Falcons going into it. Very odd. I do like what Noki said. Of course, they're going to try and fix it here, Niptura, with that 3-1 split, which I think is definitely a big improvement. But are we going to see 3 teams in Neox once more? And are we going to have a double plane that was clearly an issue yesterday? If we have another double plane, whew, this Rondo is going to be hectic.
Yeah, it is. I don't hate the idea of a hot drop on Neox as long as you don't go in full squad, because I think none of the teams at this point, the way the leaderboards look, looking so close, I don't think they can afford to have that, potential risk of just going out completely, as we saw IC do yesterday. So I personally don't hate it, but they just have to be careful. You got to play it smart. Hot drop in on Rondo is fine. Just play it smart. Just do the 1-3 recall strat. You'll be fine.
Yeah, make sure you have at least that one person to get that recall going, because for those of you guys that missed yesterday, the Falcons, IC, they hot drop. Falcons ended up getting 7 eliminations off the rip here, and that really helped them out because they're currently sitting in 9th place today. They got a little bit of a point buffer, but not enough to feel comfortable, right, Max?
Exactly. I mean, the thing about Falcons, right, is that now we know they're at their strongest when they're only 1 player alive. It happened with Narvalo. It was Ralph on the Miramar. Hey, maybe that's why they're taking a hot drop, Niptra. Maybe the strat is we lose 3 players. We just play as a solo from the start until the end, and we get like 30 eliminations. That's when they're at their peak.
Maybe. Hey, look, it's just memes, but honestly, anything goes at this point, right? Because they're just on the cusp of that bottom 5. So anything goes. It's the last day. Again, I think that's kind of the message to any of the teams kind of 10th and below, is just like literally relax. Either you do it or you don't at this point. You've got 6 more games. Just relax, play your game, and it most likely will be fine, because time and time again, we see what can happen when a team just finally goes, hey, you know what? We've done our best. Let's just play our game now. And often it works so well.
All I want really is to have a similar Rondo to yesterday, Hot Jukes, because it was absolute cinema. The EMP zone, the double planes, the hot drop in Neox. We had that clutch recall from Divine on Reject, by the way, which if we want Reject to be out of the bottom 5, we've got to see something similar there and trying to avoid GS Team and Jadina City. But so many things happening. Rondo is slowly but surely becoming my favorite map in PUBG Mobile Esport, because there's so much depth to this Battlegrounds, and I'm really hoping to see the teams get even better as time goes on this Battleground.
Yeah, one thing that you were talking about yesterday, real quick though, Max, right, was how GS is landing in Jadina CD, and they have it for free because Geekay isn't here, right? So since they have that drop, right, how big do you think it is for them to be able to put up a big Rondo here in this game?
I mean, it's an edge position, right, Niptura? So I would say it's good to have it for free. You don't have to fight for it, but I don't think it's like game-changing altogether, right?
No, I think because the only thing I will say is that it gives you a lot of options because of how big the map is that it really gives you an opportunity to get really big, long wraparound rotations to avoid teams. So if you are a team that wants to do that, it's probably a better position.
All right, well, let's see if they can put that position to use, guys. Last day for Group Green. Let's see which team's going to get that chicken dinner on match number 1 with John Allen and Blink.
We are getting into Rondo. Of course, those recall beacons are up, live and kicking for the last time, potentially for some of our teams. Well, definitely for 5 of our teams here in Group Green. And they will be pulling every trick out of the hat. Hopefully, they'll be able to come up with something miraculous, but we'll have to wait and see. One plane this time around, Blank. We're keeping it simple.
Yeah, over towards the north side as well. So it's nice and easy for a lot of our squad. But like you say, the last day now of Group Green, the final chance to get in towards that top 3. And you're right, it will be time to pull out all the rabbits out the hat here, because honestly, for some of these squads, they really do need something special today to get in towards that top 3 or stay out of the bottom 5. I think that is a big thing we have to consider here, is that unlike the gauntlet stage, someone's going home, and not just someone. 5 teams. It is a lot of players that will be cutting out here, going through as we get further and further into PMGC. We've got Group Red coming up shortly as well. You know, the action never ends here over at PMGC. But first of all, we've got to conclude Group Green.
Absolutely. Looks like we're going to be kicking off, though, with a hot drop already on the cards as the sprays start to fly. It's APG. Falcons set up in the middle. I think there's another team, Team Secret. All 3 of them playing around the test track right now. Really is anything goes to see if the Falcons can profit in the same way they did off yesterday's hot drop. They're able to get quite a few points going out. Like they are 1 for 1, but they do get that flush confirmed. And Koa may be resible here. Doc not quite with the angle to stop that one going through. We've got Reject and Gen G also on a hot drop flank. Reject looking to try and win it. Jaiki around the corner against APG. Ziol, though, turns it, slaps him down with a machete as well, and gets the flush point on. Remember, these recalls still exist, and Team Secret immediately pulling one player back into the fold. Gen G not so lucky. Looks like 9Z also still have a player down, but we're not expecting those to stay down for too long. They can get straight back up. Falak, hang on a minute. I see it here as well. I didn't even see them, but they're in for the play, and IQ's able to find Ziol and get the flush.
Yeah, unfortunate for Zol, he actually got a full reset on the kit. I think he finished that fight with Team Secret there with 1 bullet left remaining in the magazine. Was able to get himself an S12K and a bunch of other stuff in the meantime, but not enough to keep them going. The Falcons, though, they're also playing this position. This is very different for Alpha Gaming as well. Usually they play a little bit more of a split across the map. In this game, they're slightly more aggressive, trying to get more points on board. I think they understand that, you know, they want to get ahead. I think right now they are far enough ahead that with maybe 2 games at 10 points, they sort of secure themselves in that top 3 with the way teams are chasing, because it's a lot of profit multiple teams have to make. Because if Alter Ego and Goat catch up to them, it doesn't really matter all that much. They would have to have Alter Ego, Goat, DK, as well as Inner Circle all doing extremely well to knock APG out. So we can kind of stop talking about APG for the time being. We're more focused over towards D+. Seven made a hilarious video yesterday where D+, you know, trying to bulldoze their way back in towards that top 3. The teams are trying to hold them out for the time being, but they're doing a good job and tied now with Goat in 3rd.
Ooh, Koa is betrayed against Falak. I barely even saw a sliver of him, but Koa saw enough. And he gets the flush as well. That is nasty coming through from Koa. I mean, Falak's got to feel pretty bad about that one. He should be able to get the res again. That recall is going to be such a major factor moving forward into PUBG Mobile in the ecosystems that we see. You can see immediately Falak is recalled. They have that outpost on lockdown.
Yeah, it's one of the situations where you're screaming desync, but you're in the same room. So it's hard to complain about that. But yeah, that was... I don't really know how that happened. It's definitely a case of Reg on our screen. Probably looked very different for the players. But either way, reaction speed of a small mongoose.
Small is important there because they're the more timid ones, which means they need to react quicker. You know, they're more in danger. But Redox right now, looks like he was a bit of a bigger mongoose on that one, and he will go down to IC. 3 elims found for Tianba, 4 for IC. Blank. This is big starts for these two teams.
I mean, Inner Circle's doing fairly well at the moment to hold off versus multiple teams. The only worrying thing right now for me is that this is the same approach Inner Circle took yesterday, which is why I don't really think they have an outpost here. So they are fully committed to this position on the map. There's Alter Ego taking shots down towards this way. You also have Falcons, Alpha Gaming, Loops, Team Secret on the outside. It's very rough. So Inner Circle has to have a much more confident and consistent finish here over towards Neox if they want to continue forward. Already finding 5 elims though is fantastic work for them.
It's a real boon to their tallies, but you can see players are getting back up thick and fast. We've had quite a few elims coming on through already. But for now, everybody, yeah, you could just see the streakers pouring onto the tables. Gen G, the only team to have stuck with 3 for the time being, but they're right on top of a recall beacon, and that one's coming in 3, 2, 1. No, not quite. Okay, they haven't managed to hop out of the vehicle just yet, but they are going for it. All the way down south near Lampo, and there it goes. Satan's back in the mix. Still sticking onto Neox Factory, onto the rooftops. Doc doesn't want to give up the ghost just yet. There's that recall beacon right in the middle of things, but that's much more dangerous than the rest of them.
I mean, for Alpha Gaming, this is a very different approach that they're taking at the moment. It makes things very messy for Inner Circle as well, where they thought they would be taking the fight purely with the Falcons. Alpha Gaming getting involved on this does create a slight problem. This should be an easy shot to make for Doc at least, and he will pick up the first knock there and the flush off the back of it. And now Noki's locked in. Right, it's very hard for him to move from that location, and this nade looks pretty decent.
Oh, does get repositioned away from though. Noki maybe looking for loot, maybe spotted it coming. We'll never know. Either way, doesn't take damage from it. Adding a 6th elim, well, that would be pretty great. You'd love to see it. And they can control that recall as well, which means they can get their player back in nice and early, nice and quickly. Right on top of them as well. The EMP zone flaring out in the meantime. Over towards Wolves. This is on the sort of south side of the center of this circle. With the EMP coming on in. It is not ideal to be in there. It's not the end of the world, but can cause some uncomfortable situations like we saw yesterday, Blank, with the EMP forcing a fight where maybe it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. It's nice to see Coops on the Abacam as well. That thing is absolute laser beam at the moment. I don't get to see a lot of players who are on board though. Hyper Supermassive. There's a lot of hope for this team, but it's coming a little too late on their side of things right now at 78 points. I think regardless though from yesterday's performance, especially Kamikaze, they have proven themselves once again to be quite a strong squad overall. So I think most fans of this team can be quite happy. Again, I imagine last chance is going to be very difficult for them, but it doesn't look hopeless going into it.
It's a glimmer, maybe, of hope. There are still qualification spots, and someone has to qualify from that last chance stage, right? At least one team is going to get there. Hopefully more. Circle pops in as the EMP zone fades on the fight. Gen G on that east side, but it's Goat in the middle there. D+ as well now moving in on that north edge, moving down from Stadium. Seeing what they can find. It's now when teams are going to start to get stuck into situations where they can't go for these recalls. And I'm surprised that Inner Circle hasn't dropped that recall just yet. And in fact, have headed all the way out west to go for it. They are now starting to get it on board. But for Tianba, they might not be able to be quite as accessible to it.
Yeah, it's a pretty unnecessary fight coming through from Inner Circle over on that eastern side. And especially with things being thrown into the mix, especially in Neox Factory around Test Track. That is a very tumultuous area of the map where anything can happen. You're kind of concerned about Inner Circle continuing to drop there, especially on top of Falcons. There's plenty of other positions that are playable, and I think Inner Circle does thrive towards those end games. So why risk the full 4-man squad wipe at the beginning of the game? It's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, it's not favorable, but not Valo. I mean, we know what he likes to do on his own in a single building, right? There's no way you get him in there. You need at least 5 players, I'm pretty sure, to be able to take him down like that. Just the one's not going to cut it. No mustard was cut. Genji against Papa Supermassive, who have had some stellar plays, but still in the middle of those tables, they want to try and breach forwards. A little assist coming on through, and a lovely shot around the corner from Nico. They're finding more. Can't vault out there. I think there's an off angle to deal with, and a teammate to get rezzed up, because GS are taking shots. They've got a lot of angles on this surround, so you need to be careful.
GS looked like a pretty tough team in terms of qualification. Like, they didn't look like they were getting anywhere close to it. I think the past couple of days, I think they've really improved like a lot. So I think no matter what happens to GS here, like, they'd be proud of the performance. They still have a little ways to go to get out from that bottom 5. Loops is definitely in danger, as is 9ZG. I think Falcons is slightly more safe, but if they continue on this trajectory where, you know, the 4v4s are just not great, even the 1v1s aren't great from the Falcons at the moment, then it's likely to go downhill. Nice shot from Lost, but now he's just providing information from on top of the rooftop.
The rest of Papa Supermassive not really in a place to assist right now, nowhere near. And they do need to just keep themselves going. I mean, they might be rezzable here. If Nico drops another smoke, keeps the cover going. But perhaps you just want to keep your wits about you. That nade doesn't even find it. Ooh, right in the smoke. Maybe they think they've cleared that corner. Drops another one around the edge. That does tag damage, so they know that they're in that courtyard. The reses have come through from GS as well. It should be just finishing on the res, but it's not going to be Nico to face them now. On a sliver of HP, it's just Lost, and he will not find it. You can see them on the east side there, just completely separated from Trompi and Kamikaze. They were isolated out to that west, and GS, well, they launch that opportunity, but they get the recall for Papa Supermassive very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the entire time, they've been sending out to a close-by recall position to get the rest of the players back up again. But for GS, well done. Very, very well done. That's versus a very, very difficult team to play against. And getting that full squad wipe is great. You know, taking the information gain that they grabbed off of those nades and then easily determining where the players are, even pre-spraying the smoke as well. I really enjoyed that fight. I think that was very nice from GS.
Well orchestrated. Genji trying to orchestrate their approach, but the Wolves have been outposted here for quite a while, Blank. They're fairly firmly entrenched. Teams starting to have their hopes of getting recalls dwindle right now. And that's probably most brutal for both Tianba and for the Falcons, right? One player alive. Falcons very, very central with their last player. But that's where they like to be. The analyst was talking about it before. Tianba, though, a little bit more out in the open as Narvalo has the nades. Let's see what he can do in this shack.
It is interesting looking at the way that Alter Ego and Alpha Gaming are currently playing at the moment. Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
Okay, that's a horrendous spray down over towards Inner Circle. I think two players are reswood. Depends if someone wants to crash them or not. Either way, what I was saying about Alpha Gaming and Alter Ego is they're both playing very slow on the outside edge. And this sort of makes sense to me because realistically, Rondo is one of the best trampolines when it comes to accelerating your point scoring at the start of the day. And a lot of times that can be the make or break between getting in towards a top spot. Now, for Alter Ego and Alpha Gaming, what they're more concerned with this game is basically keeping other teams down. Right, so they're playing very much on the outside edge. They're not looking for central positions. They just want to make this game as scarce as possible for other squads. They don't want to get too aggressive here. They're just looking to injure, to cause casualties and slow this game down to a crawl, which makes complete sense to me.
Ooh, Inner Circle really suffering here. Reject have great angles towards them. They're just getting knocked and re-knocked repeatedly. And they're chasing for that third place bubble, Blank. I mean, look at the score lines right now. You got third place at 97. They're on 91 right now. They earned 5 points right at the start of the match. They were feeling themselves, but they're really crunched in here. It is nasty on that western side. A lot of teams very, very close by to one another. A little bit more free and easy on that eastern side, but still no walk in the park. The circle keeps that crunch in the middle too, and Reject are going to further commit down towards that area. As players starting to fall out now, recalls become almost impossible for most of our teams at this stage. APG wanting to get Zyo back up. They are staying completely together here, but Gen G going to try and split them up. Quick, up onto the tree. Dami on the high ground. A lovely nade comes through from Refus. It finds him around the trunk of the tree. There is a trade still, and Zyo is flushed. But can there be retribution? Can APG find their feet here and stay up in that first place spot? Because Satan's already found Doc. Wolves might chime in as well. Look at that flex out.
Slightly whiff nade there coming through from Refus. Reject with Regiocio will pick up one of those elims. Looks like Alpha Gaming is more than likely to go down here on the outside edge on the south side. Again, you're just trying to make sure this game is as stagnant as possible. And for teams that really want to climb up, they're likely looking for a central position anyway. So you are just gifting points across the teams that aren't really all that influential on the lobby. I mean, the Wolves are currently on 79 points, but these eliminations are getting passed around very equally right now. It's a much slower rondo than what we're used to. But again, I think at an international lobby, this makes a lot of sense. And I wouldn't be surprised seeing this type of meta start to develop in personal regions, right? You know, where on that final day, rondos are a lot quieter because you don't want to be giving away those massive chicken dinner games.
I mean, yeah, we saw yesterday as well a lot of big starts and then not going too much further. There were a lot of 8-9 elimination teams that were down early into the game, right? That were completely flushed out. And seems like this time around, as you say, it's kind of level pegging for a lot of these teams. APG, the major profiteers right now on this game with 6 elims, but that will be changing as teams continue to move on forwards. Inner Circle have managed to patch themselves back up, Blank. In the meantime, whilst all of that chaos unfolded on the south side circle, they've patched themselves up to 3 players alive. They've got control of their building. Reject flexed a little bit further away, and now they're regrouping out, which has alleviated some of that pressure. In the meantime, though, Alter Ego fighting for the podium spot with D+, Blank.
Yeah, who have now passed GOAT as well. Third place for D+. Now looking to go a little bit further. Norbu with nade outside. A lot of damage over towards Krypton. Goes extremely low. Snape looks to cut the corner, but it's not meant to be, as Norbu will make the big run out. Finds 2, but loops are coming.
They're right over the hill, and they will ride straight into the fight here, Blank. D+ now gonna have a tough time defending on 2 fronts, but with just Snape remaining, they may have handled Alter Ego fast enough. He will be a fly in the ointment to the hold against Loops. And that's the shot that they were looking for, the opener towards D+. Snape will fall, so Alter Ego in second place will go down. D+, 1 point behind them now. In just 1 elimination, they could draw neck and neck. We'll see if they're able to do it. Loops may be the team to deliver them that point that they need. They're very isolated from everybody else on this northern side.
Osal will bleed out there. So it's a 2v4. Chips got a huge amount of work done yesterday. Now looking to go even further for D+ and secure that position in second place. It's been a big rise from D+ over the last few days. In the meantime, Wolves are looking a little bit slicker today, though I will wait and see, because anything can happen with that team. We've seen them go from strength to very low lows. For the Wolves, not convinced yet.
Ooh, a couple of shots coming on through. Look at that picture-in-picture. Wolves having a tough time against Team Secret. Okay, that's not the team I thought I would be saying there in that sentence. But they've still got a Wolf on the prowl on that picture-in-picture. I'm taking a look at it. Looks like they will be able to do so much work on the top side. They take down Team Secret, but in come OG on that fight. The Wolves are flushed away. In the meantime, we're back on board now with the main picture here with Luke. And they are still going head-to-head, toe-to-toe. blow for blow with D+. As the nade pushes Fabian out the back. Chips is still on the inside. Raptor Boy looks for the challenge, but he will not be able to find it. Step into the blue too long. You're going to go down. The point that they need is right there. Will he step out? Will he get too bold with it? No, but he's going to launch them over the top. Blank. They're up into second place over Alter Ego. Can they keep it going?
I mean, this is incredible. The fact that these two players make it happen. Fabian has been in the scene for a very long time, and he knows how to keep his nerve here. Luke's final player up the stairs. Chips looking to finish him off. We'll just have to ascend this one. Noise in the corner. I will get it done. A 2v4 from D+ to secure second place is insane.
How much further can they go? There's not too many people on this northern side. They don't have the meds. I'd be surprised if they even make it out of this blue zone, Blank. I feel like for Chips, he's just trying to find a first aid right now to heal himself in, because there is a long way to go. There's about 200 to 300 meters to dash across, and that's if he makes a beeline with no caution thrown towards cover. This is nasty for D+, but they've got 9 elims already, Blank. And this, as you said before, is a great result to get up into second place, away from GOAT, away from Inner Circle. Inner Circle quite likely to go a lot further, though, so it could still be a worry.
Jammer backpack, pick it up, put it on. Right now, thank you.
Oh,
okay,
that's not going to last too long, though.
That's a clutch Jammer backpack.
For sure.
I love it when he's going for the first aid kit. He's like, wait. That's actually going to save me. That's fine. That's good. That's good. Okay, so Gemma Pack will get D+ even further into this match. All right, I love to see it. Apparently, we saw a cover flare not come through, which I can only imagine came from around this area. Not sure if it was from OG or the Wolves or Team Secret, but either way, cool to see. In an international tournament, someone getting crushed by the mighty Dorito. For OG, they cleared out rejects. It's good, right? You know, 13th place, but 7 elims at the start of the day here is very, very nice for OG. It looks better. I think the most concerning thing is that Wolves were losing the fight to Team Secret. And I think it's fair to say that Team Secret has the worst firepower in the lobby right now. So that is definitely concerning for Wolves. They did hold a stronger position than them, and they were pushing into, but since everyone else that Team Secret has played against they've just fallen over. Yeah, it is concerning for Wolves.
It's not ideal. They did get a couple of points on this match. They did get 7 elims, Blank, so it's not all doom and gloom for them, but they did want to stay stronger into that fight. With OG rolling in, though, I mean, it's a pretty tough task. OG isolated on the outside. A team that is definitely not isolated on the outside, though, is Papa Supermassive, but we have to talk about them in a minute because GOAT are crashing onto Narvalo, and this is basically an even match. He's got a building to play around, Blank. We'll see if they're able to do it this time around, see if they can get rid of him. He's locked in, but it's going to be the assist coming on from his enemy team. His opponents are doing the work for him. They step in, and this guy just can't be taken out of a building. You just can't do it. From across the way, Papa Supermassive have to get a little bit naughty, but that was floundering on the approach coming through from GOAT.
Oh, I guess he wants to get the elims, but it's so greedy. Are you seeing the team pushing onto you, getting blasted? Like, you miss out on a placement point from the back of that as well. So yeah, it's a bit annoying. I think he realized that moment in time. I think he just thought to himself, you know what, I'm just going to try and get some elims. Sick of playing as a solo for my own squad. I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory. For 9ZG, this is a very important game. It's 10th place in the lobby. 69 points right now. If they can get themselves a little bit further, get towards the middle of the pack, they do separate themselves away from some of the others chasing. That includes Loops, who are in a lot of danger right now, especially versus OG, who look to move themselves out from the bottom 5.
That is the name of the game. They're stretching out towards the north. Maxman in our chat is highlighting as well that cover flares here are going to be really important given the flatness of this terrain. He's going to be looking out for any more, well, first of all, any more emergency flare knocks, but also using that cover effectively. So I'm sure we'll get the Maxman breakdown of the D4s littering the battlefield over on the analyst desk, but it has to happen first. That's what we're here for. GOAT's trying to go for another crash, another roll up to the pagoda out in the open. And I see not able to control that. Not quite finding the spray down with IQ on that rooftop.
Yeah, I mean, you would have hoped for a little bit more damage there coming through from Inner Circle, but the fact that they've got themselves up towards the top 6 is already quite useful. I think the main two teams to look at here is Go as well as Inner Circle, both chasing for that second and third spot, and it's really not that much of a stretch that they need to go. They might even just find it off the back of placement points here, but this is a fearsome fight between DK, El Alter Ego, Go, and Inner Circle for the top 3.
Absolutely is. Although at the moment, Blank, it shouldn't be on their minds about getting into the top 3 now. It should be about maximizing point gain in this match, right? It's great that you can get into top 3, but if you're making a play like, oh, let's just get a couple of points so that we can be in top 3, sure, it's a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling, but you might have given up the opportunity to get 7, 8, 9 points on the game, where that would be a lot more comfortable moving into the future. A hard northwest shift does assist both of these teams, but unfortunately, Pamper Supermassive have started to play the game here, Blank, and now just one player left on Inner Circle.
I think Pamper Supermassive done a great job to sustain in this match. Lost will take down Falak. The big man from the squad in the circle now just down to 1 in T24, who has been fantastic when it comes to the shots, but it's not enough versus 4 teams. I think for Inner Circle, for them, you know, they're trying to get up towards the top side of the lobby. Sadly, though, that position was very rough to play versus Pamper Supermassive, and they were trying to get shots wherever they could. For GOAT, this is an extremely tough cross, but getting one of their players in Twix down towards the south side is miraculous and also fantastic timing from them, right? They pulled out the stopwatch, clicked it as soon as they heard the fighting happening over on that west side, and sent Twix out. So that anchor is really important. Good shots there from Killer Joe.
Oh, able to do so much damage to OG on the approach in a time where they need the points as much as they can get. 7 elims already on the game, Blank. Again, it's not all doom and gloom, but in the bottom 5, it's still really, really uncomfortable. GS also fighting to get out of that bottom 5 spot. They are now 1 point behind Loops. They're guaranteed to get up over Loops this game with the placement points that they're already guaranteed. The question is how far? And nades coming through from OG, making it a little bit harder.
It's so cool seeing like a lot of the top teams fighting out for this one, but then looking at a lot of the bottom teams with 9Z, who are in a bit of a struggle bus at the start of the day. GS and OG both looking to make it happen. Both teams who have seen improvement over the stage of Group Green. I think GOAT may be done for in the near future, though. They'd have to find a knock over towards 9Z if they wanted to hope in hell of getting out there. But at least getting Twix towards the central position does guarantee them at least like a top 4 here.
I mean, it's on smokes and cover flares. Like, they might be waiting for other teams to move and covering off Twix's angle, right? I think, are they just in this circle? I think they still have just a tiny sliver of it. Pamper Supermassive actually take a knock from GOAT. So there's the maybe opener that they were looking for, but it's still so flat against 9ZG that their approach, as you said, is fraught with danger. I have to try and find something. In the meantime, OG holding the south as well.
For GOAT, the only option here is to wait for the circle to crunch 9Z in, and during that time where it gets a little bit messy for 9Z, where they have to move and back off angles, that's where the rest of GOAT can start to move. But they're gonna send out some craters, but they need themselves.
Yeah, that's not gonna work out for GOAT. Oh dear. With the placement points they've got already though, Blank, they are in the top 3.
Yeah, they tried to pull it in a circle there. Sadly, a little bit of a bounce off the wall kind of ruins their whole day. That's a bit sad. But again, I still think it's a top 4 with Twix involved. GS trying to get around the side, but it's a nasty nade from Maru. Goes over towards Icon, will take him out. And now ESO looks to find these shots through the window.
Maru steps out wide. Patient, though. Good. A really, really nice rotation there, getting through. Loving the ghillie suit on Rondo, by the way. Don't see too much of it. The blossoms looking pretty for Aru. Almost as pretty as his peaks there. 9 elims now and a 4th place guarantee. This is the game that OG needed to jet out of the bottom 5, Blank. They want to keep climbing. They want to go as far as possible. Again, it's nice not to be there now, but it's about getting as many points under the belt as humanly possible to set yourself up for safety later on. Because with only 6 matches, including the conclusion of this one to go, it's got to feel good that you're into the top 3. maybe a second place on the cards if Papa Supermassive can hold it out against 9ZG.
Yeah, I think for OG, it's been really nice. And so far, a lot of these pieces they're going for are covered off by their teammates. And it's looking a lot cleaner on their approach towards these engagements. They're not trying to take fights that they know they're not comfortable in. And they're still keeping up that great macro that we know that they have. It is sad where this is almost an impossible location to push out from. But what I am glad about is that they tried to make a move. A lot of times in the past, I think OG would have just sat there and waited for the blue to envelop. But they actually went for something, and that's promising to me.
I mean, they saw those flares drop. They knew attention might be distracted, might be a little bit split. That was as good a time as any, but unfortunately did not go their way. Papa Supermassive, they've held this building for so long. 9ZG have been on the outside, but 9ZG are giving it a damn good go here. Nico is knocked. Lost was taken down earlier. Nico on the off angle, very unlikely to be resable there. Kamikaze feels the bounce of a nade of one of the tetrahedra littering the battlefield, and another nade for 9ZG. This is again another campaign to get away from the bottom 5 spots, and that is a brilliant conclusion for 9ZG. Papa Supermassive get a decent chunk of points as well, but they could not leave their compound. They held it strong, but they just weren't allowed out the front door.
And for 9Z, this is a big game for them. They needed it from where they were in the tables. That's more of a survival win for this team than anything. For Papa Supermassive, though, it does send them a little bit further up towards the top of the tables. For OG, a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more respectful of some of the teams in the lobby as well. But overall, some promising moments, I would say, from that squad. I'm not going to say too much right now because I need to see more out of that team today if they're going to make it out from that bottom 11. But the journey has begun. The journey has begun.
Absolutely. Some very important matches coming through on the Rondo, and that's what we wanted to see. There was no team blank that got 0 eliminations. Everybody got at least 1, and that's what you want from a Rondo, right? It's pure entertainment value. Getting stuck in with those eliminations. Brilliant stuff. But 9ZG, they close us down with the first chicken dinner.
And 9Z get the chicken dinner off the rip today. Man, this has to feel like such a relief for the squad. They were in 3rd place after day 1, and in day 2 just couldn't get it done. So to finally make it happen here in the final hour is just so huge for this team, Neptura.
It really is. I love how they've played this. Very careful, very consistent across the game. I love in particular how they, like, in maybe phase 4, I think it was, they saw there was a compound in the middle of circle that was open, and you can see just the beeline of rotation going straight to that position and holding it. It's so decisive from them. It shows that they're really thinking about it, they're being proactive, and it's what got them the win in the end, Max.
I mean, there were barely any compound free the moment you spot one that is available. Just like beeline for it. Just like yoink, mine for the rest of the game. And you know what? It worked out great for 9Z Globe. And actually, we do have to say, Niptro, by the way, looking at the stats, great stuff from Milos. He popped off this game. 5 limbs, over 500 damage. He was on fire this match. But 9Z was slipping ever since the first 2 strong games on day 1 for Group Green. They've been invisible. We haven't really seen a much presence from 9Z Globe here from Americas, and it's good to see a little bit of a redemption game here because they were in 10th position, Niptura, meaning a few more bad games, they would be in a bottom 5, which of course would send you home. So good to see a little bit of a redemption arc here on this Rondo game.
Yeah, it's really nice to see that they recognize that this game was so important because you are going to have those teams that are slightly below you on that cusp of the bottom 5 or even the bottom 5. Those teams as well are really going to be trying to step up and try and take as many elims as possible. So it's nice for them that they recognize that and went, hey, actually we have to have a really good, strong game here because otherwise we are going to fall behind. We don't want a repeat of day 2.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's so much to talk about with this match. This Rondo felt completely different from the first 2 in my mind. At least I don't know what you guys think about that one. It started off with Alpha Gaming, though, right? Instead of normally dropping all their players in Yulin, they sent 2 to Test Track. What do you think about that, Max?
I was just seeing someone again get shot while parachuting down. It's been happening a lot on Rondo. I don't know what it is about a trend. But no, this hot drop between the certain Pakistani team I shall not name. Then you have APG, you have Team Secret, you have Falcons. It's hectic. It's all over the place. I love it. More of that, please. Absolute mayhem on the battlegrounds here for Rondo. But it was cool that we saw, especially for that certain team going for a little bit of a backup plan, which is, you know, going for the recalls up northwest away. It didn't work out for them yesterday, Niptura. This time around, they had a game plan, and you know what? They got very far in this game. You love to see it.
Yeah, and I really like here we see that crash. It's such a difficult building. No, it wasn't. Yeah. But I will say I'm impressed how long they survived there, right? Because it's such a hard position to hold. Teams are surrounding you. They did get helped a little bit by that zone because that meant no one was going to push them. They were too busy worrying about their own thing. But OG there, I want to say very quickly, what a third party coming in for them. I loved this, and then they were able to hold out. Oh, wait, the triple.
I didn't see that.
I did not see that.
Whoa. What are those nades, man, coming out from Orangutan? Sorry, I have to jump in there. That's mad respect on the utility game. And we were saying it, right? Hot Tricks Niptura, this is by far, in my opinion, even though it's not a win, this was the best game from India. This was the best game from Orangutan. And finally, given respect that's deserved back to the lobby. They're not being too over-aggressive, going for these weird splits. No, they bunker down. They hold positions together, Niptura. The timing was on point. Is there hope for Orangutan today? Because if we see this caliber of gameplay for these next 5 matches, whoo, OG, this could be a great, great day.
Absolutely. I love how they played this. They played how I was thinking they were going to play, right? They timed the third party onto Wolves and Team Secret really, really well. Then Rejects did a really good push. They tried to threaten that position as well. And OG said, absolutely not. This is ours now. And the quick flip that they were able to do from that third party to defense was really, really nice. And then using other teams' fight to actually use as a distraction to push up themselves. Love what they did with that. So I'm really, really hopeful for the next game.
Oh man, I'm so stoked for this one as well. Milo's getting that 5 eliminations. This man popped off this match, and I'm telling you, OG could not have done that game at a better time, right? Loops, remember, they were that cutoff team. They had 61 points. In this match, they only got 3. So OG are for sure going to be jumping up the leaderboards, right? GS had a good game though as well, so it's still going to be a fight at the bottom pretty much all day long here in my eyes, Max.
Yeah, it's just going to be, they're going to cannibalize each other. Just like, we want to leave the bottom 5, please. Actually, they're not even able to make it happen just yet. They're still going to be down there in 13th position. They were in 13th position before this game, but that gap has closed, Niptura. You're 6 points away from possibly being in that middle pack here to go for the last chance. Top 3 out of the question. Last chance, that is your goal, that is your objective here. And Orangutan, 6 more points, which is doable. With the way they were playing this match on Rondo, we need to just see a bit of a follow-up after that great game.
No, we absolutely do, but I would just want to point out very quickly, we saw DK say, hey, we're going to be top 3 at the end of the day. They're top 3 game 1. They're now in 2nd place. They've pushed Alter Ego down. Goat still hold on to their 3rd, but D plus Kia looking good for finals. If they can just hold on for 5 more games, they will have done what they set out to do.
Yeah. I like how Goat team are the immovable object in this one. Just D plus, jumping 2 ranks. Alter Ego dropping 2 ranks. They're not budging from that 3rd position right now. And Twix, actually, I want to highlight Twix real quick. Yes. This guy was just sent as like the rabid dog of this team. Is just like, you go forward and you just nade everyone. He's like, got you. He's like John Wick in this lobby, and he's getting insanely accurate nades on Papara Supermassive Blaze in particular. This guy was on fire, and you know what? I do wonder if they can maintain a position in the big 3 today, Hot Tricks.
Yeah, you know what? As long as you don't, knock your team by shooting your own vehicles, stuff like that, we can kind of get that stuff fixed. I think for sure we're going to see them continue at the top. I mean, Goat have been crushing it here so far. They got to watch out, though. I mean, you got D plus now entering the fray. Alter Ego are going to step up here when it comes to Aaron Gale, so a huge threat at the top. I do want to talk a little bit more about the bottom, right? In my eyes, Niptura, looking at those leaderboards, I think this is it for Tiamba and Reject. I think if they don't win a game right here, they're not going to make it. Do you think that's correct?
Sadly, I have to agree. I have to agree. Very sadly, with a heavy heart, because Tiamba, we've seen them do so well before. Rejects, I love this team so much. I've followed them for years, but it's just not looking particularly good. We saw a little bit of more what we expected from Rejects in that rondo, right? In that last game before their altercation with OG went so terribly bad with the triple nade and all of that. But they were in the top 6, top 7 as a full squad. That's better. That's an improvement from yesterday. So Max, if we can just see that maybe a little bit more, maybe they can scrape into the top 11. I don't know though.
Rejects were like, wait, Orangutan are playing good this game? We got a little bit surprised there. But I think any team in the bottom 5 can still make it, except for Team Secret. I think Team Secret have kind of given up. We're not seeing that glimmer of hope, right, that we saw back in PMWC in Riyadh. Just not quite on that same caliber of gameplay. So Reject, Tiamba, Orangutan, Loops for me can still make it up there. And then you're looking at the teams above that threshold, right, Jukes? GS, Falcons, Wolves, Gen.G, even 90 Globant. I feel like they can still fall down in that bottom 5. So it's still really close. I think it is going to be down for the bottom 5, at least down to that final match where it's going to really decide the fate of these teams.
Well, let's go ahead and take it on over to the 7WG with GOAT.
Welcome to a quick report with the 7W team. Killer Joe, honest for the squad in Rondo, your best performing Rondo so far in Group Green. How important was that for your team?
Obviously, it's important to get 8 points, not 0 for us. It was our best Rondo this tournament. Hard zone, very hard zone, but we got.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to continue like this because performing quite well. What was the difference between day 1 and day 2 for your squad? Because day 2, you popped off.
Day 2, we will continue day 2, I think, yes, to get more points.
All right. Well, hey, I'm hoping that's going to happen. Best of luck. Back to you guys.
Himself, he was talking about how this was a tough zone. Honestly, that whole map was crazy different, right? I think we're definitely seeing teams just realize that, hey, we need 20-point games, right? Just some eliminations ain't gonna cut it. So for at least for what I noticed, Neptura, squads were quick, right, to rather than focus on engagement, get those dominant positions as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah, right. We made note of it. It was like, hey, this rondo's actually a lot quieter than the first 2 days, and that's exactly why. It's just these teams are hunkering. You know, they're realizing the potential that Rondo has to make points, and rather than focusing all those points on eliminations, they're like, hey, listen, we can hot drop a little bit. We can kind of be a little bit aggressive in the early game, but the focus really is on that end game, focusing on getting those positions instead, Max.
It was not an easy Rondo game. Like, really, everyone was trying to use those emergency cover flares to just survive in this game, right? You know, going on to Erangel. You don't have emergency cover flares? PUBG Mobile Esport, maybe. That could be a great addition, but I'm very excited for the Logics. It's going to be intense to see who's going to be looking to climb even higher in those rankings.
Well, I know 2 teams for sure. I think it's do or die for Tiamba and Reject. Let's go ahead and head on to Erangel and see if they can get it done. John, Blank, you think that they can?
Hey, you know, anything's possible. Why not? Give it a good go. Give it your best. That's what you're here for. At the PMGC, plenty of teams will try and stop you, get in your way, tackle you to the ground, and drag you down with them. You got to rise above. That's what it's all about here. Milta up towards Zaki on the plane path. A little bit difficult to get. Those vehicles should be fairly accessible.
By the way, John, the correct answer was no. So just for
I was trying to be kind, you know?
reference. I think it's all good being optimistic, and I think it's less good, you know, of a team who has got no chance trying to tell them that they can get in. I think that there's a possibility of potentially getting out into the last chance, but even then it's going to require some insane games for that to happen.
Yeah, that's I think that's fair, right? I think that's definitely starting to get a little bit long in the day for getting all the way up there. We'll have to wait and see if, I mean, miracles can happen. It really can, but it's just not all you expect. On the north side there, I'm looking over and seeing quite a few teams potentially dropping towards North George. with Inner Circle, maybe, yeah, look at a redivert back up towards Zaki. But Blank, it looks like we're on for a military circle here. Get across as fast as you can. High priority, I'm assuming, is going to be put on towards that observatory position, the bridge camp's potential, over towards Novo access. Maybe we'll see some rotations of the gliders coming on through as well. Grab those hovercrafts.
I wanted to see this yesterday. I wanted to see it yesterday, getting it first game off the first angle. Yeah, that's good. That's fun. That's fun to see. I think it's absolutely brutal for so many squads, though. This is the type of thing where it's like, oh, on an outside chance you get a lot of points. Who's the team that benefits from this the most? Alpha Gaming. They're already in bloody #1 spot. They don't need any more points. This is very frustrating. For Reject, potentially they're able to get across the water quickly, play towards the houses on the beachhead, play those compounds there. But again, it's tough. A lot of the teams that are going to benefit from this are already in a strong position. And it funnily enough, is the two teams we highlighted before, and Tiamba as well as Reject, who are around south of Milta and south of Farm. So, you know what? Maybe last chance is on the cards. Maybe it is. Maybe I was wrong.
Give it a good go. Let's go. Come on. You can do it. Still 21 points. Ooh, bit nasty. The question is, how fast do they move, right? Because Falcons, they are moving very quick right now, but they are in one vehicle, Blank. And I always hate to see that, especially when they're going to be rolling past Goat. It is going to be a difficult bridge crossing for them. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do it here. Depends how close Goats stop. They might try and go further on into the island, and I wouldn't be too surprised at that. They know that there's going to be so much fighting around that bridge. They can play a little bit deeper in and wait to pick up the pieces from it. They're playing the longer game here, and in a third place spot, that's what you want to be looking for. Unfortunately, though, for them, Alter Ego have already managed to find first blood. Papra Supermassive losing one of their players over towards Milta Power on the east side.
I'll tell you, one thing that D+ is very good at is getting to weird zones very quickly and then holding them from there onwards. Loops is in their way and they will be passing through side by side. It is a weird situation where for Loops as well as D+, there is a consideration to be made here where as you're rotating, you see another team and you just don't take shots. You prioritize getting into the circle and finding a position. I think that's actually the smarter move to take in an international. I think D+ and Loops have both committed to that.
That's a little roll up there, as we saw from Falcons. They're still in their one vehicle, Blank. The thing I didn't take into account, though, to be fair, is that Goat will not have had time to loot that much, right? So they're not going to be super prepared to go for that hold. It's not like you're coming in a minute, in 2 minutes time. And fair enough. So maybe the one vehicle rotate was necessary to just get them across, and they'll be able to grab a couple more vehicles, especially after taking down a player from Goat who was lagging behind a little bit, and they'll be onto the south side. So as much as I hate to see it, I feel like maybe the one vehicle rotate could have been the right call in that exact, very specific scenario, and no others ever. Papra Supermassive, though, after taking the fight in Milta, going for a swim, taking a dip, got their swimming trunks on.
Yeah, that's it. That's a long swim as well. And with Tiamba holding Novo, I mean, that was a pretty obvious hold as well. Oh my God. Doran with the iron sights at that range is something else.
That is pretty special, for sure. I mean, you just always love to see it. You love being surprised like that. Every single time, even though you kind of expect it from teams at this caliber, it's always pretty on the screen. Wolves moving in, trying to hunt down Claws. He's hiding behind the rocks. He's having a good time by the ocean. Actually, he's not having a good time. He's having a pretty terrible time, but might be a little bit safer than he once was, because all four of the Wolves are here, and they are playing hide and seek. It's sardines right now, and Claws desperately doesn't want to be found. As we have a little replay as well. This was when Papra Supermassive lost their player. Claws with the fight around the corner. Yeah, no, it's never happening. Not in a million years.
I appreciate the restraint from Papra Supermassive there. It was like, I want to slam the desk. I'm not going to slam the desk. Fair play to him. But yeah, that's rough. Definitely rough. Definitely a classic, though, from D+. getting towards this zone nice and easy. I think I respect Loops and D+ a lot more after that push. I think you might have seen... Oh, Reefus. You might have seen it in a regional tournament, you know, Loops stop short and trying to hold out D+, but I think in international, it's a very smart maneuver from both those teams. Just shake hands and be like, well, you know, we could either make this very difficult on both of us, or we both just look for separate areas to go. And even D+ respected it. They saw that Loops wrapped down towards the south side, so they thought, well, we'll wrap over towards the north. In those few scenarios, it is sometimes nice to, you know, make a friend on your journeys.
No friendly attic for Goat, though, as they have more of Falcons to deal with. Ooh, Dolphallow. Give me a scare there. Redox goes down on the first peak, and with 2 pump actions, not peaking at the same time, did not quite work out for them. But they'll be able to get that res. And another player for Goat falls. This is all good news for Alter Ego. I wonder what vehicles they're in right now, Blank, because they are all the way over towards Milter Power still. Hopefully they've got a hovercraft at best, maybe a boat at second best. Could it be a glider time yet again? As teams are starting to compound now onto the military island, DK are taking that northern side, that north and eastern side, rather, of the military base itself, moving up into the hills. Observatory is found by Loops, and Tiamba are in the foothills over towards Novo.
And there is one boat there for Alter Ego, which could take the entirety of Alter Ego across. Quite a few of these locations are cut out, though. I think for Alter Ego, it's likely going to be a heavy, wide swing towards the west of the island. But decent sprays from Coops. Decent sprays from Coops, as in a circle to estimate their way across. But again, I think for Alter Ego, I don't think they'll know to make this wide swing to the western side. I think they'd imagine that a lot of the west here is taken up by players. I didn't mention it very much there, but I am very surprised that Inner Circle just like fly past Wolves.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time.
Yeah.
It's got a knock though. It's yeah, Inner Circle do lose 1, but yeah, you're right. How have Wolves let that happen? They overcommit maybe to finding that solo.
Wolves though, you're just like, well, now our life's a little bit more difficult. There's a lot of teams down here. Now we're kind of one of the last to enter.
Yeah. Actually, they didn't even get the flush onto the Inner Circle player. That was picked up and put in a vehicle very quickly. I thought that was knocked on the bridge, but seemed like it was a little bit safer than I thought.
Yeah. Basically horrendous for Wolves, honestly.
Why have they done that? Coops, why would you do this?
Why would you do this, Coops?
Oh, dear.
Alpha Gaming, though, I think I'm a little less impressed. I mean, losing a player to D+ that early is a little bit sad, especially being the team that plays Sosnovka as well. For Alpha Gaming, they're now down to just 3 players. I think Reefus is actually a pretty critical component of the team as well, in terms of finding those picks. I think he does enable the team to be so successful at times. I did about 4 more C's in that successful than was necessary as well.
That's an interesting approach here. Alter Ego, taking a leaf out of the Alpha 7 playbook. Take it to the skies. And I mean, on the east side, it kind of looked a little bit occupied, but it was Papra Supermassive who they scrapped with earlier, right? And they're very, very split. The landing actually fairly smooth, but Rosemary, I mean, he's taking damage from somewhere. I think that might be in the blue zone earlier on, but has 5 bandages, a stim ticking him up as well.
Did you miss Alva just falling out the plane?
I think I did, actually. Blank, I was looking at the map feeds. That happened? Oh, dear.
Yes.
That's really, really bad. Rosemary, what are you doing? Figure it out.
Well, I don't think it's Rosemary's fault. I think that Alva just ejected in some failed James Bond movie. So, not really sure what he did there. That should tack. So it doesn't tack any damage at all.
Oh.
It doesn't matter. The M249 will do the trick. So, a pretty unfortunate entry, which looked so smooth, right?
Yeah, they sort of stumbled repeatedly on several hurdles. I missed Alva falling out the plane. I definitely will need to get a replay on that, because that sounds like comedy gold. But Papra Supermassive able to find players back on it. Okay, there we go.
Shot.
Maybe he got knocked out of the plane here by Kamikaze. Okay.
He did.
That's so much more fair.
Well, he did get ejected, but he didn't press the button. Ow! Ow, ow, ow. That's a painful circle for a lot of squads. Heads back up towards the North Island. Oh my days. No, orangutan. No, you do want to play on the south side. You do want to play on the south side. Please, OG.
Oh no. Oh
OG,
no.
please.
This is the reject game though, Blank. It's now or never, right? They need it at this very moment. Team Secret completely out of it. They're in the blue zone somewhere. I don't even know where they are right now. I believe they dropped up towards Georgia Pole, so probably still yet to come in from the blue zone. Everybody now crunching in onto these hills. You can see Reject regrouping, but keeping a 2-2 split here. Maybe looking to further regroup and leaving some out to a little bit closer to the coastline. No, they are further inland and playing the buildings. Tiamba as well on that east side, having a good time. OG, listen to your pleas, Blank. And they do send down south over that bridge. They are not going to be playing across the water. As tempting as it might be, it's not going to be there.
Yeah, they were going to play Sharkfin, which very much an outside chance and survival. But I imagine Ari's just like, look, we're done with that type of play style. All right, we're done with playing on the outside of the zone. Let's try and get something here. I mean, they're so close to breaking out into last chance. I'm so glad that they turned around. No matter what happens to them now, I respect the decision.
Go with two players that they got remaining, fending off against GS around the corner. No shots found for GS. The door frame lit up there on the corner, but it will finally be a knock found. Unfortunately, though, there's no one else to try and jump on in. This should be Reservoir here for Killer Joe as he spots Jafar out in the buggy, out in the open, and he gets the spray down. Beautiful stuff as Goat now up to 3 elims. They are desperately defending that third place spot, and now trying to stop Alter Ego from getting on in because they've only got Krypton, I believe. Oh, Snape is still alive as well on that southeast side, but just no HP to be seen.
Tiamba and Reject, two teams that sort of don't really want to fight one another right now. Both have hovercrafts as well. It's a very similar strategy seen from both the squads here. But yeah, really nasty circle for everyone involved. Cuts out so much landmass. I think it's one of the few times where there is actually less playable area on the map than unplayable. It's so tough on this one.
Oh, that's where they are.
Where are they?
This is west side of Sosnovka.
Yeah, so they must be. They're very far away. They're gonna
die. They're gonna die in the blue.
There's a lot of distance to go there for Team Secret. Somewhat confusing.
It's not like you can exactly stop off and heal for a second, is it? In the glider.
No. Okay, I mean, for Reject, honestly, that rotate from farm down towards the south side to play those buildings, like I said, on the beachhead, works out fantastically well for them. I just want to see a little bit of a regroup here and then hold those angles, because this is a perfect way to finish out your game. I'm sorry, Reject, I should have never have doubted you. That's my bad.
They are really holding this one out. Gen G now eliminated. So another team quite close to that boundary. I say quite close. They are 83 points and 11th place is 66. But with GS going down, that's good news for Loops, for OG, to try and keep this one going. And on an outside chance for Reject, they've got Hovercraft as well, Blank. So some nice tanky cover that they can maneuver around wherever they see fit. And a lot of teams are just trying to send over their way. Alter Ego, the last player standing, trying to chase on down. 9Z clashing with Papra Supermassive on the outside, and they have got nothing in the face of Papra Supermassive. Nico's not there, but they don't need him. They got all the other boys, and now Reject want a piece of this. Ragey scouting out Divine Nades over the top. If they can win this out, this is a huge pickup to be able to clear so much territory, but they're falling back. They don't want to overexpose.
Yeah, I don't really think you can say Papra Supermassive really clashed with 9Z there. They look more like my pizza from last night as they sliced them halfway 8 times. That was bad. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Alter Ego, though, nice little Molotov. Unfortunately, Krypton basically has no HP to speak with. Less than 5% here. He is struggling. The Wolves, though, still continuing here. I mean, they've definitely been persistent in their journey. The more I watch Wolves, the more I think to myself that they're a team that makes mistakes. And that is the problem. You know, I think they're a good team, but there's a lot of mistakes that are made during the play. I think if they can shore up some of those holes in the ship, then they'd be fine. They'd be a really, really strong squad. But there's just these moments where it's carelessness that really comes back to bite them.
Yeah.
But they've been playing much better today. I'll say that now.
Chris God, challenge, and Bond is able to win that out. That's the last player now standing for OG. They tried to approach from this east side, but Tiamba were on the hold. It looks like they were doing pretty well. They're not going to be pushed through either. D+ actually moving immediately ahead of this one. You said they get these weird rotates sometimes. This is a brilliant heads-up decision made by D+ Kia here to actually get ahead of Tiamba whilst they're in that fight. Alter Ego eliminated as well. That is a little bit of relief for GOAT, but they've still got Papa Supermassive and Inner Circle to worry about chasing them down.
In my mind, there's a world where D+ is first place at the end of this. I'm not even joking at this point in time. Okay, I'm not even joking. I do feel like it's coming. It's so weird with the South Korean squads because I think day one is always terrible. Day one is always terrible for South Korean squads. And they're like, we get it. I think we understand the circle. And then suddenly they start playing out of their minds. It's just so strange to me that day one's always just like a bit more of an observer day for them.
Oh, well, we'll see what they can do. Moving in, the Wolves having a little bit of a clash. The perpetually sixth place team, it seems, like you said, they do make those mistakes and need to step it up. We'll see if they could do that against Papa Supermassive. The little wide wrap around the edge, and that is the go signal immediately. Stepping forwards of Papa Supermassive down in 10th place. A lot of damage, though, sent back over towards the Wolves. That's coming through from Inner Circle. Defending 6th place from them. Not even allowed up to there.
Yeah, I think for Wolves, that losing one player is not too bad, but it's a very clean fight between them and Papa Supermassive. Very nice. I think Coops is doing his absolute best to make this work. And the one thing that worries me about the Wolves is that there looks to be a little bit of contention in the team at the moment, especially when you watch them on the stage. There is a back and forth. Though I do prefer for teams to be open, and especially North American teams, they can be very loud, but you know, when everything's said and done, they are still very friendly with one another. But if you want to make it towards the end, you've got to let your opinions be known here. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned about there is that you know, you're fostering a little bit of this not so favorable attitude in the team. So for the Wolves, I hope they can keep their heads clear today, because there is the possibility for them. There really is. They just need one big game. That's all they need, and then they're in the running.
Tiamba trying to move forwards. D+ not allowing them that opportunity. D+ keeping things going. I mean, a little bit of revitalization. That first day, not great, but day 2, a lot better for them. They looked really cool on the stage as well, very calm, even when they were finding those chicken dinners. And now, it's like they're trying to convert. It seems like on the north side, they have a very solid chance. Ocel's not out in the water there on that position. Don't worry. The minimap just a little bit offset. He is on dry land. He's got dry boots for the time being. But it's all, I feel like, for me, it is still Reject that I'm looking at here. If they can jump up, and maybe as a second storyline, Falcons, if they're going to be able to actually do more than stay alive with a solo and rely on Narvalo for points.
Yeah, I mean, that's not great, is it? You know, having to basically send out Narvalo like some kind of Pokemon in the end game. Narvalo, I choose you.
Max signed us up Pokemon. I was like,
points. What? Yeah. I mean, that's his special move, right? That's what he gets. 6 points.
Narvalo uses 6 points. It was super effective. Loops. Ooh, they are trying to find the shots and seemingly getting through, but not unscathed. Finding the crash successfully onto this corner. Goat now down to 1 player alive. 3rd place in his hands, although it's a bit safer for now. As we hop back over to this east side. D+ moving in with a solidly timed rotate, still ahead of Tiamba, but Chips is spotted. That's Loops from the south, actually opening the door for Tiamba to maybe to skirt around the edge.
There's some tough shots for top right now. Extremely long distance, but definitely making life hard for Tiamba. on the very outer edge of the map. This could easily be a Wolves win. It could easily be a Reject win. Playing around this hilltop here, you can get a lot done for the Wolves. I think the unfortunate thing for them is that they're playing as 3, which makes this a lot more difficult. But I've seen a 3-man win from this spot in the past. It is possible, but you have to be everywhere all at once. And that wasn't on an international stage either. So we'll see how Wolves do want to play this one out. Still 9 teams remaining at almost 22 minutes into the match. It's all these undulating hilltops which allow multiple teams to remain in